January is soon coming to a close. With that comes February. Today we will be discussing sneakers to resell in the month of February. If you're not into reselling, that's okay as well. You could use this guide to know exactly what are going to be the most hyped sneakers, the most limited, or even what popular general releases may potentially go on sale because, hey, we're all trying to save a little bit of money. Specifically, we'll be discussing the name of the sneaker, the retail, the release date, and whether the sneaker will be profitable or not, or if they may even sit on shelves resulting in a sale price. Feel free to subscribe and enable post notifications just to stay 100% updated on all these profitable releases. Also, be sure to follow my Twitter for any urgent updates and info, KeithAdam10 and personals for you. Kicking it off with February 4th, we have a pretty big day. First, the Dunk High Ambush in pink will be dropping for $180. Although I do not expect them to sell for as much as the black and white pair, regardless, I'm confident that these will still be very profitable with a great margin, kicking off the month with an absolute bang. We will also be seeing the same shoe in a Chicago and Royal color later this year. That's another thing to look forward to, of course. Moving on though, we have some more Dunks. The Dunk Low Coast as well as the Dunk High Football Gray both be releasing in the US on February 4th. Lows for $100 and highs for $110. If you guys don't recall, these were supposed to release on January 14th, but US specifically did get delayed, unfortunately. Some of the Dunks that were supposed to release that are re-releasing on February 4th in the US are these, while others are a little bit later, which we'll be discussing soon, don't worry. Some good news for you guys. The higher stock that I did mention in my How to Cop guide for these has illustrated itself on the Europe drop. I've never seen that much success for Dunk drops. Sites did have a lot more stock than usual compared to prior Dunk releases, and some new sites even received pairs that didn't used to receive pairs. On the screen right now, here are some examples of the stock that was loaded onto Snipes for these, which is just absolutely incredible because obviously this is somewhat proportional to what we'll see on other sites. Regardless though, although it's high stock for a Dunk, that does not mean it's high stock in general. I still expect both of these to be difficult to cop. You'll just have a slightly better chance compared to prior Dunks, and I still do expect them to be very profitable with very good margins as well. Expect the Coast Dunk to do better than the Football Gray pair, but I'd still suggest going for both. Now, prior to moving on, I do have an exciting announcement for those of you who have been patiently waiting. Endurance will finally be restocking on February 2nd at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 10:30 p.m. CET in Europe. Tweeted from KeithAdam10. Endurance is a group to help you exploit the secondary market inside out, but what makes Endurance so different though? To start off, Endurance offers numerous softwares completely free for all members to help them exploit drops. All members have access to a location spoofer to help them exploit sneakers stashes, sneakers passes, frenzy drops, etc. All members have access to an autofill tool with auto checkout and an auto add to cart to destroy drops and restocks even if they don't have a bot. All members have access to a custom queue bot to help them efficiently pass waiting rooms on sites like Adidas, Finish Line, Mesh, Snipes, and even has a cookie feature for efficiently passing queue on Yeezy Supply. There's also a Supreme Add to Cart bot to make manual checkouts extremely easy, which has now actually been implemented into the autofiller. There's also a Dick's Sporting Goods bypass system, and for any botters, we also offer free software to help you guys out as well. For example, this could turn a one-click Gmail, profile converter, account gen, and much more, and even cheap in-house residential proxies available 24/7 for the most reliable providers. But that's not the end of it. We love innovation and we're always developing new things to separate us from others. Then of course we have amazing relationships with a number of elite commercial bots for group buys that members actually want. My personal favorite though, above all, Nike sneakers earlier, but for shock drops, scratches, AR hunts, sneaker stashes on hyped releases, you name it. My personal favorite recently was the Union Jordan 4 stash, since members were prepared with the exact time and coordinates to spoof to, not to mention even the custom coded spoofer we made for all members to use for free, as well as the Air Force One Paranoid sneaker scratch or shock drop. So again, the Endurance restock will be on February 2nd at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 10:30 p.m. CET. Tweeted from KeithAdam10. Mark your calendars and set your alarms. With that out of the way though, moving on to February 6th for $190, the Jordan 12 Low Super Bowl will be releasing. In general, Jordan 12 Low hype has never really been notable. I don't see this pair being too different. They appear to be releasing at the usual retailers too. As of now, I'd say personal only for these, but don't sleep if you do want a personal pair, as I don't feel these will be going on sale. I'll keep you guys updated as we do approach the drop in case anything does change though. On the same day for $190, we have a somewhat similar situation with the Jordan 5 Anthracite. However, However, these may end up getting delayed to February 24th. I'll keep you guys updated on that, of course. Anyway, I do expect demand to hold up pretty well up to the drop, but I would only expect lunch money at best in the larger sizes, primarily for people who don't have tax in their state. I'll update you guys if anything does change, of course, but overall, I don't really have the best expectations for these. Also, on February 6th for $140, the Air Max 90 Deep Royal will drop, as well as the Air Max 90 Metallic Gold will drop for $120. In general, Air Max 90s don't tend to carry a significant amount of demand unless it is a collab. Personal only for these as of now. Moving on to February 8th for $200, the Clot Jordan 14 will finally be dropping after being rumored for almost a year now. A Jordan 35 Clot will also be dropping, likely around that same $200 range. Expect all sizes of the 14s to be very profitable with a very good margin as well. And as for the Jordan 35, they are expected to be profitable as well, but are expected to be slightly less than the 14s. But regardless, both are still a go as of now. This is the Clot release date, but Nike may be dropping these on a later date, potentially the 11th. On February 11th for $100, the Dunk Low Hyper Cobalt will be releasing in men's sizing and grade school for only $80. If they don't drop then, they may end up releasing on the 16th of February. All sizes are expected to be very profitable with a great margin. Also on February 11th for $100, the Dunk Low Women's Orange Pearl will be releasing. Just like the Cobalt pair, expect them to be very profitable with a great margin as well. Full throttle without a doubt. Also on February 11th, we now have a Dunk High. Specifically, the Dunk High All-Star will be releasing for $110. Expect these to be very profitable with a great margin as well. One of the many dunks to look forward to this month alone. Also on February 11th for $130, the Air Force One Silver Snake will be dropping. Personal only when it comes to these, nothing too notable. Similarly, also on the 11th for $230, the All-Star Foamposites will be dropping. Unfortunately, foams really haven't had that same hype that they used to long ago, and I don't see this pair being much different. Unfortunately, personal only for these, and you may even be able to get these for slightly under retail in the secondary market if you are patient. Moving on to February 12th for $170, the Women's Jordan 1 Silver Toe will be dropping. Expect all sizes to be profitable with a very good margin as well, especially in the larger sizes since they are a women's Jordan 1. Definitely an amazing drop to look forward to since many of you will hopefully be able to cop and still make a decent profit off of these. Moving on to February 13th for $200, the Carmine 6 will finally be dropping. We have waited so long for this and it's finally here. Despite the higher stock on these, the demand is amazing. I would expect at least lunch money on these with or without tax in your state. Sizes 10 and up should perform the best, bigger the better. Let me know if you plan on getting a personal. This is actually my personal favorite pair this month in terms of a personal pair, but also for reselling too, since I'm pretty confident I'll be able to get a ton of these because of the high stock and because the margin won't be too incredible, outweighing the fact that the margin isn't going to be the best. Because again, guys, I always try to emphasize this, small profit really does tend to add up, so I'm definitely looking forward to this drop. Moving on to February 16th, just as we were discussing before, we have two more of the delayed dunks in US that were supposed to drop last month. Specifically, we have the UNLV Dunk Low this date and the Vast Gray Dunk High on this date. Just like the last ones we discussed, expect both to be very profitable with great margins as well. The low should have a slightly better margin than the high, but both are still a cop regardless. Moving on to February 17th for $150, the Jordan 1 Zoom Comfort PSG will be releasing. Normally, Zoom Comforts tend to perform pretty poorly, but in some cases, they do quite well, such as the Guavas that released not too long ago. These should be one of the cases that perform somewhat decent, since they are a PSG collab. It's not just a normal Zoom Comfort with an undesirable colorway. Also, the fact that retail is only $150 for these, it does leave plenty of room for at least some potential lunch money with a decent margin as well. Moving on to February 20th for $190, the Jordan 3 Cool Gray will be dropping. I don't really have good expectations for these, unfortunately, primarily just personal pairs, but you may be able to make a little bit of lunch money in large sizes if you don't have tax in your state, but at this point, I'm even skeptical of that. Moving on to February 27th, the Jordan 4 Taupe Haze will be dropping for $200 after being delayed from January. As mentioned in last month's video, I do have decent expectations for these, especially since the colorway is very reminiscent of the undefeated Jordan 4s. I would expect at least some easy lunch money on these with a subpar margin, and perhaps, or hopefully, even more than that. Now, with those drops out of the way, let's discuss some drops for February that don't have exact release dates just yet, those of which which I will keep you guys updated for, of course, so be sure to subscribe and enable post notifications. Kicking it off, the Sacai Blazer lows in orange and green will both be dropping in February for $120 each. Expect both of these pairs to be very profitable with great margins as well. Moving on from those though, the Yeezy 350 Ash Blue and also Ash Stone will be dropping this month for $220 each. I don't have high expectations for these either, but you should still be able to make a little bit of lunch money on sizes under 8, especially if you have no tax in your state. Then we should also see the Kobe All-Star 6 drop as well for $180. Although I can't confirm the date just yet, I would imagine it will be sometime around All-Star weekend. Expect all sizes to be profitable with a great margin as well. And finally, for February, the last release we'll be discussing today, we may potentially see the Dunk Low BHM drop for $100. The image you see on the screen right now is just a mock-up, but regardless, whenever they do end up dropping, expect them to look somewhat similar to this and be very profitable with a great margin as well. But anyway, that will conclude it for today. Remember that the limited endurance restock will take place on February 2nd at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 10:30 p.m. CET in Europe, tweeted from Keith Adam 10. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, or you perhaps learned a thing or two, and subscribe and enable post notifications if you happen to be new, and also follow my Twitter, of course, for more urgent updates, Keith Adam 10, and personals for you. With that though, enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck on all these upcoming drops.